Morning, y'all. I hope you're all doing well and in good spirits. Got some Raza news for you. So the Lowriders are doing it again. There's a bill now at the state level to ban the bans on cruising. So I might have shared, well, I did share that, some cities have lifted this ban, which targeted Raza, discriminated Raza from using parks that were open to everyone else, using streets that were open to everyone else. And, by and large, everything I've seen is like, it's all love out there. There's not the issues that were out there in the past. Car clubs, they'll hold an event and invite all the other car clubs to it and share food, and everybody looked out, right? And so it's been very family friendly, and the Raza deserves access to every park like everyone else, even if they drive a lowrider and they're going there for a picnic. Maybe especially if they're just going there for a picnic with their family and they happen to have a beautiful car that other people can appreciate and enjoy. So when the bill was presented at the Capitol, a lot of lowriders from all over the state showed up in support of it, and it's a wonderful thing to see them recognizing they have this political power, that they have a lot of numbers to push politicians to be more equitable. My only hope is that they start to use it for other issues in their community. As mentioned, I've seen lowrider community praise politicians for allowing a cruise, but that same politician is the target of a lot of other Raza that don't cruise, that don't have lowriders, for the systemic racism they're experiencing at the hands of that politician. Namely, trying to put shelters in Black and brown communities exclusively to spare whiter and wealthier communities. The other story I saw, and I saw this one a while back, but I wanted to wait to see if anyone picked up on it, and I haven't seen that. But Sarah Huckabee Sanders has banned LatinX. And I honestly don't think she's doing it to support the Raza, even though that's how she worded it. She used facts and figures, which I think could be true. She said that like 97% of the Raza don't identify as Latinx, that it's unfair to put that on them. And I think she's doing it to attack the LGBTQ community because of the X on it. That is a tool that the right uses and the left uses for votes, cultural wars. It's not policies, it's cultural wars. And there's a cultural war against the LGBTQ community on the part of conservatives. Doesn't matter that they got folks like George Santos and Nick Fuentes, from the MAGA crowd who are openly gay. They can still be hostile to that community. And when I think of conversations I've heard from like Raza podcasters about it, they've largely been, based on conspiracy theories or just immaturity. I've seen men that, look as old as me. Dudes straight look like men, grown men, and you bring up the LGBTQ community in a conversation and they turn into giggling kids talking about beepies and wee-wees and gerbils. Like, it just becomes a very, very childish conversation. A more mature conversation that I've heard about it was on Cholo Trucker's show. He had this special that he would do monthly on, kids being abused. And he had a pastor on there, not Rocha, another one. And the guy was talking about, he was on the bus, and the kids, because, either he was gay or they were just calling him gay. He said, like, the whole bus was taking turns beating him up, and that he was on the floor of the bus just sobbing and wishing he was dead. And, they were calling him all the homophobic slurs, and like he said, he just wanted one person to help him or show him kindness, and no one did. And these were kids on the bus. And so that's what I think about. That, man, kids shouldn't have to go through that shit just because, they identify differently. And so I wish I could hear more conversations about, the bullying that kids do to each other, and how it affects kids, and how, it's not cool to bully anyone because they're different, and how a lot of this teaching kids acceptance is, geared towards negating some of that bullying and not trying to convert your kid into something. And there could be, individuals who do go further than maybe they need to in teaching anti-bullying. But I don't see, like, an agenda to convert my kids. I see an agenda to protect kids who are different. And so, because I've heard a lot of Raza, claim to be conservatives, and usually, again, their arguments are totally a cultural war won, based on conspiracy theories and immaturity a lot of the time. I hope to hear, some real discussions on, what Sarah Huckabee did, because I can appreciate folks not identifying, even as Latino, never mind the X, because they feel like it would erase their specific culture. They might be holy purepecha. There's in California, by the Salton Sea and in the Central Valley, there's large communities of purepecha who don't speak Spanish, who don't speak English. They speak their native language, their tribal language, and so they wouldn't identify as Latinos. And I think, in California government, because there is so much equity and justice rhetoric and grant proposals to address it, they are targeting brown folks for, I would say tokenism, but they would say equity and justice efforts and money. And so when someone applies for a grant, they do it in response to a request for proposal from the government. And that request for proposal will usually identify the demographics they're trying to help. And so in saying LatinX, it would encompass, brown folks, and the application or the request for proposal wouldn't have to individually call out every brown ethnicity. So I can appreciate it from an efficiency standpoint in government paperwork. So I can appreciate that. But I also recognize that most Raza don't identify as Latino. And, I think Sarah Huckabee used that to attack the LGBTQ, because I don't think she's looking out for Raza. And then lastly, this isn't really news, just a really quick story. I went to see Creeper last weekend, Cholo Creeper. And when I was in line for a beer, this guy comes up next to me, and he's a little stocky vato. And he's like, did you drive far to get here? I was like, Dad, this is a weird question. And I was like, nah, I just came from, South Sac. He's like, I drove all the way from Stockton. And I guess he asked me so he could tell me about himself. So he started telling me that last time he was there for a concert with his wife. I think Joey Ontivero, something like that. My homeboy that was with me, he knew it. And so they started talking. And like we just chopped it up with homeboy until the line split. And then after the line split, and I told my friend, I was like, damn, that vato was like hell of outgoing, huh? He just like came up like he knew us forever and just started chopping it up. Which is, there was a lot of guys there posturing and trying to look tough. So he was different, right? And then during the show, when Franco Quinones comes out as Cholo Creeper, he tries to get people on the stage to work out with him. And most people are like, nah, I'm cool. They're shy. I would have jumped up if he would have called me. And so finally he gets these two people to come up. And while he's looking at them, so all the camera is, the lights are facing where Creeper's talking and to these people. And out of the dark, someone comes up on the other side that wasn't supposed to be there. He didn't ask him up, but the vato ran up through the dark and ran up on the stage and goes up to Creeper and he hugs him. And he's like, hey, man, I dress like you every day. I dress like that every day. And Cholo Creeper says, well, not today. You're dressed up different. And the vato's like, my wife wouldn't let me dress like that because she said we had to dress up for the show. But you know what I call that? I call that pinta wear. And the dude looked like he might have been to the joint, right? And then Creeper's like, fuck, the security's letting anyone on stage because he wasn't supposed to be on there. And then my homie says, hey, that's that vato from Stockton that was talking to us in the line. And then the vato yells, Puro Stockton from the thing, and then people in the thing yell it back. And but he was in like gangbanging. He was in a happy mood and like just genuinely honored to be in Frankie's presence. He was doing this and thanking him for letting him stay up there. And then when they went off the stage, the other ones just kind of waved, but he went off like pumping the air and he was all hyphy. For older vato, he was pretty hypey, and that kind of just helped make the show better because I was like, oh man, that's the vato that was in line chatting with us, and then he just ran up on the stage and became part of the show, and I thought that was pretty cool. And I thought it was cool because before the show started, I saw the microphone, right? And I'm looking and I tell my homeboy, I'm like, man, that would be the G-est shit if I just went up there and just grabbed the mic and started entertaining people while they're waiting for him to come out. And those are like G moments. And I didn't do it. I thought they'd probably kick me off the stage. But this other vato did it. He ran up on the stage and he was going to be part of the show no matter what. And him doing that added to the show. He didn't take from it. The crowd cheered for him because he just had a good energy and was really positive. And so that was a good weekend. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today. The three things: Sarah Huckabee Sanders and LatinX. It's banned in Arkansas. Lowriders are now at the state level pushing for a statewide ban on cruising. So if you live in a racist part of the state who isn't going to lift the ban because they don't want all the Raza getting together, the state's on it. And that's it. So anyways, I hope you guys have a good day. I hope you're grateful for what you have, and that if challenges comes up, you don't look at them as curses or blessings, but obstacles to overcome to make you stronger. Peace.